Hey there, welcome. LJ back on the vid, and I want to talk to you some more about what we're going to be up to in these Yoga Muse sessions. Some inspiration from one of the books I really love, The War of Art, that is almost like the Bible on getting into our creativity, getting into our flow, finding that inspiration, taking the action, doing the thing, and also being aware of this thing called resistance that seems to be part of the process that we need to figure out how to deal with as creators, right? So I want to read to you a little bit out of this book called The War of Art by Stephen Pressfield. There's a helicopter going by. So here we go. What is this thing called resistance? And this is from his chapter called Resistance's Greatest Hits. So here he says, the following is a list in no particular order of those activities that most commonly elicit our resistance. So it can be anything, y'all. The pursuit of any calling in writing, painting, music, film, dance, or any creative art, of course, however marginal or unconventional. The launching of any entrepreneurial venture or enterprise, for profit or otherwise, is going to bring up resistance. So all these things bring up resistance. The launching, we said that, any diet or health regimen, we usually get resistance to it, right? Any program of spiritual advancement, any activity whose aim is tighter abdominals, any course or program designed to overcome an unwholesome habit or addiction, we get resistance to, right? Education of every kind, you might get resistance to. Any act of political, moral, or ethical courage, including the decision to change for the better some unworthy pattern or thought or conduct in ourselves. Even those things, when we know we want to do it, we seem to get this thing called resistance that makes us not do it, right? So even when we know we want to help others, and any act that entails commitment of the heart, the decision to get married, to have a child, to weather a rocky patch in a relationship, and the taking of any principled stand in the face of adversity. So in any words, any act could bring up this resistance, right? So it can't be felt or seen or heard, or no, it can be felt. Sorry, I got that wrong. It can be felt even if it can't be seen, touched, heard, or smelled. We experience it as an energy field, radiating. It's a repelling force, right? Something trying to get us not to do it. It's negative. Its aim is to shove us away, distract us, prevent us from doing our work. Did you know that this was going on? We think it comes from outside of ourselves, but really, it's something within. Resistance will tell you anything to keep you from doing your work. So, we're wrong if we think we're the only ones struggling with resistance. Everyone who has a body experiences resistance. So, yeah, and here's just one more funny story from this book about resistance that is probably always going to be there, which is just something that's going to be part of these Yoga Muse sessions. Like, how do we become aware of this thing called resistance? How do we work with it? How do we move through it consistently? Resistance never sleeps. Here's a good one from a little story. He says, Henry Fonda, famous actor who was acting up until he was at least 75. It says, Henry Fonda was still throwing up before each stage performance, even when he was 75. In other words, fear doesn't go away. And that's part of what we're looking at with this whole Yoga Muse session thing and this look at resistance. The fear is never going to go away, right? And actually we need to learn to work with it and honor it, and even know that often what we fear is what we're supposed to do most, right? Or what we want to do most. So even Henry Fonda was throwing up still every time he'd go perform, even though he'd been performing for 40 years or whatever. So the warrior and the artist live by the same code of necessity, which dictates that the battle must be fought anew every day. So, yeah, to get into our creative flow means we need to become aware of this thing called resistance. We need to find ways to work through it, to understand it, to move past it and to do the thing anyways, so that we can get in our flow, get in our passion, get in our purpose and our contribution, much less have more fun and just create what we want to create, right? So yeah, that's the little tidbit today. First Yoga Muse session in Long Beach this Friday. Love to have you. If you can't come this Friday, though, there are 2 more dates, and probably going to do some online versions soon too. So let me know if you're interested in that, if you're not local to me in Long Beach. But yeah, super excited to share with you how to use this yoga meditation stuff for our creating. Important, awesome, powerful. Loving you. Hope to see you for some Yoga Muse sessions soon. Stoked to share.